Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Back to School Reboot. We are unlocking potential with AI in education. My name is Stephanie. I will be sort of our MC for today. We are going to get started with my friend Ed in just a moment for our restorative start. We'll give people a moment just to trickle in. We'd love to see where you're tuning in from. So if you want to put your name and your school or district or organization in the chat, that would be great. Welcome. I hope you're all having a great morning. Welcome, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for trickling in. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Rushton. Good to see you. Good to see you, Janie. It's been a while. Welcome back. Welcome, Laura. Welcome, Deneen. Welcome, everybody. We're unlocking potential with AI in education this morning for our Back to School Reboot. This is our 5th annual. Welcome, Erin. Hey, Daniel. Good to see you. All right. We will go ahead and get started. So we are going to start this morning with a restorative start. If you're like me, I like to sort of dip my toe in the water before I jump back into the school year. So that is our intent this morning with our restorative start. From about 9 to 9:30, we'll be getting warmed up with thoughts of starting the school year off. I'm so lucky to be joined by Ed Campos. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Stephanie Sumarna. It's good to see you all here. I am an Ed Tech and Innovation teacher on special assignment at the Santa Cruz County Office of Education. And I've also got my Monterey Bay Q shirt on. I am the co-events, and communications chair on our local affiliate for Q. And I'm just so excited to see you all here today. I am going to go ahead and introduce Ed. Ed has been in education for 20 years. And this is old, Ed, because I feel like I saw on Instagram you're heading into year 22. Is that right?
Yeah, as a math teacher, I had to, I guess, do the math and count
Yeah.
actually how many years, So I did go back to my substituting years, which I do count because I did a full year of substituting, but starting year
Nice.
22.
All right, year 22. I'm on my Sweet 16. I invite you all to put your year in the chat, what year of education you're entering this year. And Ed works as a 75% consultant for Kings County Office of Education. He first worked 3 years as a software consultant in Silicon Valley before accepting his true calling as an educator. The other 25% is what Ed considers his genius hour time, which includes independent consulting, keynoting, traveling, starting his own nonprofit, creating charcuterie for his friends, familia, and colleagues, and hosting the restorative start for us. Thank you so much, Ed. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. It's an honor to be here. Good to see some familiar faces. Lucy, Rushton. Good to see you all. Buenos dias. I have a warm welcome question I'd love for you to ask because this restorative start is going to be linked to creativity, which I think we all need. But I'm curious in the chat if you could share what is a creative outlet that you enjoy, right? Or that you used to enjoy? Because working in education, whether it's 16, 22, year one, it's a daunting task, right? And we need these outlets to balance and stay balanced. I know myself, I do. Hey, Marco. Yeah, I haven't seen Marco in a long time. It's San Diego, Marco. Good to see you, brother. We got some cooking. Rita. Oh yeah, this is the crew. Efrain working in the yard. That's the Zen Yep. Garden design, Julie. I like that. Little side hustle. Pickleball is the thing, Melody. From what I hear, my mom keeps trying to get me to do pickleball, and I'm like, it's gonna mess up my golf swing. That's the excuse I make. I can't mess with the golf like I'm any good at golf. I can't, you know, knitting, hosting, celebration stuff. I like that. Cooking and digital design. Very cool. Dance. Nice. So I want to start our restorative practice with creativity meditation. I've developed pretty good create meditation practice. I think over the last 4 or 5 years, it was already getting pretty good, and then the school shutdowns kind of like really solidified the need for having a mindfulness meditation practice. So it's kind of like nudged me in there, and I want to share one of my favorite meditations that I'd like to do with a little activity linked to it, and it's by the RZA, the director or the creator of the Wu-Tang Clan. Anybody familiar with the Wu-Tang? We got any Wu fans right here? Throw up a W. I see Marco right here. I know Marco knows. So the RZA, he had a collaboration with Tazo T and released a series of really amazing short 5 minute meditations for creatives, right? Because he's a very creative individual, innovative in everything that he's done with acting, with moving, with music producing and scoring, with the kung fu, with the mathematics, with all the academics that he's into. So, um, and I love this idea because let me see if you can you all see my screen here. I lost you all, but as long as you see my screen, can I get a audible?
Yeah, we
Looking
see
good.
palm trees, Ed.
The palm trees. Okay, cool. So this meditation by the RZA, it's called Fan Your Flames. It's about 5.5 minutes, and it's about your own unique creativity. So he talks about, the need for us to be creative in anything, whether it's, you know, the arts or navigating really just challenges in our lives, right? Then, and this is a great time, I think, to start off with the creativity meditation to tap into your unique creative influences before you start the school year, because we know it's a whirlwind. It gets crazy. We get caught up in it. I feel like we get caught up and picked up in this whirlwind or this tornado in, in August and September, and then we get spit out sometime around June, or maybe, I guess earlier in December to get a break. But it gets hectic, right? So I think like this need for being on your island and tapping into, um, what makes you unique and what is your creative influence. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of front loading and then we're going to listen to it. Um, what he talks about is what makes you unique creatively. It stems from like these creative influences and inspiration. Like that's what makes you unique. And he starts to ask you what makes your island unique. Like, is it some hobbies that inspire you? Like you mentioned in the chat, some strengths. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's just a feeling. Maybe it's the voice of one of your loved ones. Maybe it's the smell of a home cooked meal, or the sounds of your neighborhood. And I love that because he's tapping into the senses, right? And our senses, even as we're growing up through your childhood. Maybe it's your favorite piece of artwork. So I'm going to give you a little bit of mine before we jump into it. So this is like when I started doing this meditation, these are the visuals I got in my mind. And it's a unique type of meditation where, you know, you are going to have a pen and pencil. So I encourage you to have a pen and pencil nearby. And as you're breathing, and listening to the RZA's words, jot down some of these ideas, smells, inspirations, artists that come to mind. But these are the kind of visuals that would come to mind in my head. And I'm not going to explain it all right now, but we can talk about it on the other end of the meditation. But I just wanted to give you like a visual there before we start. How are we feeling right here? Good, good? Okay. So I would definitely find a comfortable seat, settle in somewhere comfortable. I do love to close my eyes. I encourage you to turn your screens off during this too, because like we don't want anybody screen recording us, getting all in our zen, like then they start turning it into memes and gifs and stuff like that. But so find a pen and pencil. It's going to be about 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. Do what you need to do. And if this is not your jam, that's fine too. But I'm just going to play this meditation by the RZA. Try and think of some of these elements that come up. And then on the other end of the meditation, I want to, if you're willing to share out, because sometimes these are very personal, and that's fine. It's really just for you. Your practice is just for you. So I am going to share. And then I just want to once I start playing it, I want to get an audible, Steph, if you can just let me know if you can hear the audio. And
Yep,
then,
will do.
and then I invite you to turn the screen off. Let me see if. Okay.
Episode 2.
We hear it.
Fan
Is
your
that a
flames.
good volume?
Yep.
Welcome. The exploration is now in session. For this experience, we'll travel to a place of inspiration, a mental refuge to explore so you can seize your creativity. But before we take this journey, we first need to prepare the body and the mind for what's next. So find a calm setting, free of noise and clutter. Sit in a comfortable, alert position. Place your hands together or rest them gently on your knees. Feel the floor beneath your feet. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Again, focus on the flow. Inhale. Exhale. Slow. Smooth. Only on a remote island can something like the Hydra reach its full strength. For me, and for all my Wu-Tang brothers, Staten was that island, AKA Shaolin, Park Hill Projects, Stapleton. We grew up there. It was a place of isolation, but that isolation was our greatest gift. Without isolation, we would have sounded like everybody else. But on the island, me and my brothers were cut off from the mainland, the mainstream. We had to find our own sound. We had to assemble our own influences, and we did just that. Scientists have laboratories. Craftsmen, they have tool sheds. My chamber was inside my basement. That's where I spent many hours of my formative years, surrounded by comic books, VHS tapes, kung fu movies and gadgets, my turntables and equipment. And with that came my music. That was all I had. It was that undisturbed habitat that allowed for deeper exploration, that allowed me to reach my full potential. Now, I'm not there physically anymore, but I can mentally summon the island whenever I need inspiration. I could picture it in my head. It's crystal clear. And all the feelings I felt, all the influence, everything that I had myself surrounded with, it comes to me again. The lessons I've learned, they still center me to this day. Now, we will summon your island and fill it with the key influences in your life. By creating this mental space, this island, you can shape your own unique creativity and your own creative output. When you feel stuck, you can travel here to explore. And return to your breath for a moment. Focus. Envision your island. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How does it smell? Now I want you to fill it with your greatest influences. Let your mind wander so they could surface. Dig deep. Go to your earliest memories. As they emerge and they come to you, write them down on a piece of paper or jot them down on your cell phone. It could be a feeling, the voice of a loved one, the smell of some home-cooked meal, the sound of the subway train. Anything you want. Or maybe it's just your favorite piece of artwork. It's your island, and that's the catalyst for your creativity. Now look at what you wrote. Reflect on those influences. Now select only 8. That's the number that represents build. By building positivity, you automatically destroy negativity. Your influences are with you on your island now. Explore a bit. How do you feel? This is your inspiration space. No one could take it away from you. I have my island, and now you have yours. As we move towards the exit of our exploration, I want you to put your paper or that note somewhere safe. This is now your map. It will help you find your way back to your island at any given time. And that island will be your perfect place to begin any mental exploration. All right, now take a deep breath. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. Again, focus on the flow. Inhale. Exhale. Slow. Smooth. Slowly open your eyes and return to your day.
All right, as you're coming out of that meditation in any way that you needed to, back into your seat, curious to brushed it. Curious to hear in the chat, um, what was brought to mind at all. Maybe if I could hear from a couple of people. Is it okay to unmute, Stephanie, to get a couple of folks here? Can I get maybe 3 people to share out what you're willing to? Any images? I personally love this meditation because, especially when the senses come into it, I start getting like images of my grandmother who since passed away, who was the biggest influence on my life. The smell of the pan dulce from her bakery, and I hear the sounds of the trays clanging in the tongs, and the Ramon Ayala and Vicente Fernandez music playing in the panaderia. So like it takes me, I love being on my island. It takes me, my grandmother is a big part of my island, but then I start to get these other images, and it's just a really beautiful place for me to go to. And I'm curious if anything came to mind that you're willing to share, because it's obvious, it can be personal. If there's any, yeah, feel free to, you had me at bundles. feel free to share in the chat, but I'd love to also hear from some of your beautiful voices if you'd love to unmute.
I enjoyed listening to it because it kind of reminded me of my college years, hanging out with some of my friends. That would be the kind of music we listened to, and just having really great conversations and feeling like the whole world was before us, and our dreams were all just ripe for the picking.
Thank you for sharing that, Jessica. That's beautiful. I feel you on that. That youth, that college youth, that's a beautiful place to be on the island, right? That anticipating the world to conquer. Thank you for that. Maybe one or two more people.
May I go? When he talked about going back to your earliest memories, and it was things like watching The Price is Right, like the Bob Barker era, and the sound of the door knocker on my grandparents' door. And then I kind of went from there on a journey to things that are closer to me now in the present, and more contemporary memories. But going back to some of those really deep-seated, beautiful memories was excellent. Thank you for that experience.
You're welcome. Thank the RZA. Thank the Wu-Tang. That's maybe one more.
I will, but if that's
Let's
okay.
go two. I see Marco and Jane. Can we go Jane first and then Marco?
Mine wasn't very exciting, but I just went home. I'm far away, and I have a beautiful river near my home, and I love being there. And so, yeah, I was at home. It was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Jane. Marco?
Very similar to Laura, where going back to your memories, childhood memories, I just remembered being in Mexico, my house in Mexicali, and walking over. You know, your experience was with the panaderia. Mine was with a tortilleria, where they make tortillas, and my mom would send us out there, grab them. Only came home with half, I would say, because I would eat on my way back. So, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm glad this resonated with some of y'all because it is one of my favorite ones. It's like a way to transport myself. And I've actually I encourage you to try and find a little island if you don't have a meditation practice or anywhere. Mine is my little patio in the back. I have some succulents back there and a little water fountain. So it's very easy to kind of get into that mode of the island. And I want to share, we have a little bit of time left, but I also want to share how this connects to AI even. So what I've done is I've been doing some of these, I've been doing some retreats recently at Shaver Lake with some teachers and artists where we gone and I've done this and we did a meditation with this and we each brought this creative project or idea or goal or dream. But I had the group do this meditation. And then what I encourage you to do is to even think about why you chose these things and list these out. So I'll give you an example. I always see hummingbirds and butterflies in my island because for indigenous Mexican culture, that represents my ancestors. My grandmother, she was a business runner ran a business. She was a white woman who learned Spanish, adopted the culture, who married my Mexican grandfather, spoke Spanish and successfully ran a Mexican panaderia in a town that was 90% Mexicano. And she was super generous, even helping rival panaderias where there was no rivals, such a non-judgmental nature and beautiful spirit. The grapes and grape fields, because my parents picked grapes, the RZA for his unique leadership, Childish Gambino, because he's a multi-talented artist that just not afraid to be great at everything. And what I did is I actually had ChatGPT because now ChatGPT has memory. If you're familiar with that, and I actually typed in first. I asked it, "What do you know about the RZA's Fan Your Flames meditation?" And then it knew a lot. It gave me exactly what it was. And then it said, okay, I've done this meditation. This is my island, and this is why these elements are on my island. And I gave it to it. And then I would Now, I'm going to go to this thread I have here. So I said, and I ask it every once in a while, what do you know about my island? So they'll be like, yep, it's from the Summon Your Island meditation, and share the elements. And it goes exactly into what is on there. And I like to do this because it saves me time, because when I prompt for whether it's a task or a problem I'm trying to solve with ChatGPT or a challenge I have, I said, now I ask it, take my island into consideration and help me do this in a creative way, right? So recently I got an opportunity to work in adult ed, like a side contract with adult ed teachers on trainings for building thinking classrooms, SEL and mental health, AI and how to use the tools effectively to help English language learners. And I just asked it, how does this opportunity connect to my island? And even though I know instinctively these are all things I love that ChatGPT can really help solidify this is why this is the right project for me. This aligns with so many things that are on my creative island. And it's been a really amazing bonus. You know, I'm not sure if I need to train ChatGPT to write like me, but it's better for me to train it to know what I value and to know how to give me better responses faster. And by sharing what my island is, which is not I'm not sharing a lot of personal identifiable information. I'm not giving my grandmother's name, right? I'm just telling you, this is what I'm all about. This is what gets my creative juices flowing. And so I don't know if that makes sense, if that's a useful idea, but I encourage you to try something out. I know we've got like 3 minutes left, but yeah, if there's maybe even share in the chat anything that you're interested in, because I think we have a lot of challenges ahead of us, and the year gets crazy. But I love that I can find solace in coming to my island to reflect, but then also solace in that this powerful tool of ChatGPT that's a great ideation, thought partner to generate some ideas, can help me generate the most creative solutions and save me time in getting to the plan right away. So.
Ed, you're getting some appreciations in the chat that makes sense. They think it's a great idea. People excited to carry that idea forward. And then in case you missed it, there was a question about where they could access these guided meditations because they're ready to do them with their students. So I went ahead and dropped the link. The full album of Rizzo's guided meditations is available on YouTube for free. So I went ahead and dropped that link in the chat in case anybody wants to go back and grab that.
Yeah, just heads up on that one, because I have used these with students. The kill the noise one does have one curse word in it, but all of the other ones, the kill the noise, I mean, it's unnecessary, but just a heads up. So the kill the noise, which is about distractions, but.
Perfect. You're getting appreciations and jokes on that one in the chat. Thanks, Ed.
But maybe you need that, maybe your island has a curse word or two on it. This is a non-judgmental space. So thank you all for having me. I hope whatever challenges you have ahead, enjoy the rest of this amazing conference. Thank you, Stephanie, for inviting me. And let's keep in touch. Feel free to reach out on any social media if you have questions about this. I can share more information and let me know how it goes.
Perfect. Thank you again so much, Ed, for kicking us off with that restorative start. I hope you're all walking into our kickoff, which will start in just about 1 minute, refreshed. If you wanted to take a peek at that Canva slide that Ed showed, it is linked on our schedule at a glance. So that resource is there for you. If you want to maybe add your own island or do a little more deeper reading on some of the elements that Ed has included in his. We are going to go ahead and switch over to our keynote. So we're going to pause for just a moment. I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to say goodbye to Ed. Bye, Ed. Thank you so much.